Okay, so there was a bit of technical glitch. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S exam prep. My name is Naveen, and today we will be doing cubes and dice questions that come in MAHCET 2023. Okay, and we will look at the concepts as we go along and solve the questions. So the first question is, how many smaller pieces are obtained by making 3 cuts in X plane, 4 cuts in Y plane, and 2 cuts in Z plane on the same cube? So, if you have a cube and if you, let's say, make 2 cuts, then you get 3 pieces, right? There are 3 slices of bread. If you assume that this was a slice of bread, this cube was a bread initially, you will get 3 slices of bread. So if you are going to have n cuts, you will end up having n plus 1 slices in any particular axis, along any axis. Okay. So from here, there are 2 formulas that come up. First is, if you have A cuts, B cuts, and C cuts along the 3 axes, then the number of total pieces or the number of total cubes or cuboids, whichever they are, okay, whatever they are going to form, is going to be A plus 1 into B plus 1 into C plus 1. So this is the first one. The second one is, if the number of pieces is given and if you try to find out the cuts, then you will have to try to minimize it. Okay, so I'll take an example. Suppose there are going to be, let's say, 14 cuts. Then how many pieces will you have? If the total cuts is 14, then what is the maximum number of pieces you are going to have? इसको कैसे solve करते हैं? So what you have to do is you have to try to break down 14 into sum of 3 numbers where the 3 numbers are as close as possible. Suppose ये 14 की जगह 15 होता, then 15 would have meant 5, 5, 5. 5, 5, 5, the sum of 3 5s is 15 and they're closest to each other, right? Now since it is 14, then the closest we can go is 5, 5 and 4. So that means A is 5, B is 5 and C is 4, or they are in any order. Anyways, the number of pieces will be 5 plus 1 into 5 plus 1 into 4 plus 1. So if you know the individual cuts along each of the axes, you add 1 to them and multiply together, you will get the total number of pieces. There is no maxima or minima there. But if the total cuts are mentioned, okay, and they have not specified that out of those total cuts, how many are along the x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, and if you are asked to maximize the number of cubes or cuboids formed from there, the smaller pieces, then what you do is you try to break up the total number of cuts number, the value, into 3 values such that their sum is the total number of cuts given, and these 3 values are closest to each other. And then you use the same formula, as in you add 1 to each of those cuts and then multiply them together. I hope this is clear. Okay. So for this question, since there are 3 cuts in X plane, 4 cuts in Y plane and 2 cuts in Z plane, the total number of smaller pieces is going to be 3 plus 1 into 4 plus 1 into 2 plus 1. These are the total pieces you're going to have, which is going to be 4 into 5 into 3, which is going to give you 20 into 3, 60. Right? Yeah, good afternoon, I say. Yash and Chetan, why 72? It won't be 72, okay? 4 cuts है ना, तो उसको 6 नहीं करना है, 5 करना है, 1 बढ़ाना है. Okay, let's solve the next one. What is the least number of cuts required to cut a cube into 80 identical pieces? This is the vice versa of the previous one. कि अगर total number of pieces is 80, that means we need to write 80 as product of three numbers such that they are closest to each other. Okay? So 80 can be written as 1 into 1 into 80. 80 can be written as 1 into 2 into 40 and so on and so forth. If I want to make it closest to each other, I will have to think of three numbers such that their product is 80 or closest है. तो 80 का cube root ले लेते हैं, assuming that all the three numbers are same. So 80 का cube root I have no idea. 64 cube root is 4.4. So 80 cube root will be 4 point something, है ना? Cube root of 80 is going to be 4 point something. So all the values should be in and around 4. तो लेते हैं. 4 into 4 is 16. 16 into how much is 80? 5. As in, can we say if we are going to have 4 pieces and 5 pieces, not pieces, I should say slices, 4 slices and 5 slices along the 3 axes, then the total number of cuts should have been written like this. Here 3, 3 and 4, they represent cuts, right? उल्टा क्योंकि देखो अगर ABC cuts है तो +1 करके multiply करते हैं, and if the values are already written as something +1 into something +1 into something +1, then those three somethings, they will become the cuts. उल्टा चलो, right? So 3, 3 and 4 cuts are going to be there, right? How much is 3, 3 and 4? 3, 3 and 4 will add up to give you a total of 10. So we need minimum 10 cuts to have a total of 80 identical pieces. Okay? Girish, I gave 2 formulas. You have to use it. If you have A cuts, B cuts and C cuts, then number of pieces is given as A plus 1, B plus 1, C plus 1. If the number of pieces are given as A plus 1, B plus 1, C plus 1, then A, B, C will become the cuts along the each axis. So here it was given, please relate, A is given as 3, B is given as 4, C is given as 2. So you add 1 to all of them and multiply. Okay. Next, if 11 cuts are made on a cube, then what is the maximum number of identical pieces obtained? Going to use the same formula, left to right, right to left, depending upon how it is, well, what is asked and what is given. So 11 cuts would mean we need the sum of 3 numbers that is equal to 11 and they need to be closest to each other. So 11 की जगह अगर 12 होता, so I would have had 4, 4, 4. But since this is not 11, this is not 12, this is 11. So we are going to have 4, 4 and 3. So if 4, 4 and 3, these are the number of cuts, then the number of pieces we will have will be 1 more into 1 more into 1 more. So this is going to give us 5 into 5 into 4. Which is going to end up in 100 pieces. I hope it is now clear. हाँ, बिल्कुल आता है ऐसे, बिल्कुल आता है. Okay, चलो. Try this one. 27 identical smaller cubes are arranged to form a large cube. How many similar cubes are required to envelop the large cube in such a way that the enveloping figure is also a cube? So it is like we need to put this, smaller cubes that form a small cube into, we need to put a shell around it. We need to put a cover around it. As in if it's an orange or orange के बाहर peel लगाना है. ठीक है? So if we have 27 identical smaller cubes, then 27 identical smaller cubes को वापस cube में convert करना है. So for this, remember, that in any cube, if you know, it, right now it doesn't matter how many slices are being made, okay? If there are total n smaller cubes, okay, they will add up to give you a large cube. And what will be the dimension of this large cube? The dimension of this large cube will be cube root of n. The same logic that we used for 80. Okay? Cube root of n karna hai. So if we have 27 identical smaller cubes, then the large cube will have a dimension of 27 का cube root, which will be 3. इसका मतलब ये है कि we are going to have a cube where you will find 3 cubes along each of the axis. X axis के along 3 cubes दिख रहे होंगे, Y axis के along 3 cubes दिख रहे होंगे, and Z axis के along you will find 3 cubes. Okay, so the figure that I have drawn, that you have a cube, you make 2 slices horizontally, 2 vertically, and 2 along the height. So you will get this. Now, if you want to enclose it, so if you want to enclose it, it means you need to have a slice above this, है ना? You need to have a slice below this. You need to have a slice to its left. You need to have a slice towards its right. You need to have a slice in the front, at the back. So can I say this is, if the size is n or 3 here, not n, it's cube root of n, 3 here, and if I need one more slice above it and one more slice below it, so can I say the larger cube will now have the total number of smaller cubes as, instead of 3, it will be 4 plus 1, 5. 5 hoga total. Out of that 5, we will have a 3-sized cube inside it. So the larger cube, since it's a cube, each one will have equal dimension along all the 3 axes, right? So can we say 5 into 5 into 5 will be the final number of cubes, which is 125, right? Total cubes 125 hai, out of which we have 27 of them that were already present. So how many extra cubes did we require? So can we say the extra cubes were 125 minus 27, which is going to be 98. So we need 98 more cubes to actually cover that smaller cube. Okay. So isko agar formula mein yaad rakhna hai, if you want to remember this. So if you have n cubes smaller cubes, okay, that should be enveloped by more cubes, then these number of more cubes is going to be n plus 2 ka whole cube minus n cube. This is the total number of cubes required. So here n cube is 27, right? That means n is 3. So you put n is equal to 3 here, you will get 3 plus 2, 5. 5 ka cube minus 3 ka cube, which is 125 minus 27. It will give you total 98 more cubes are required to actually cover it along all its 6 faces. Okay, right, AC. The answer is E. Same question, go ahead. Now we have, instead of 27, we have 64 smaller cubes that are arranged to form a large cube, and it is placed at the corner of a room. Now there is a condition which was not there in the previous one. So how many similar cubes are required to envelop the larger cube completely in such a way that the enveloping figure is also a cube? Since it is placed along the corner, we won't be able to cover all its 6 faces, right? If a cube is going to be placed at the corner of a room, you can only find 3 faces. The top one, the left and the right. आधे जो है वो नहीं होंगे. So how many similar cubes are required to envelop the larger cube completely in such a way that the enveloping figure is also a cube? So there is a little twist, right? So if we have a cube, its dimension is n plus 2, then inside the large cube, the smaller cube which is completely inside it will have a dimension of n. But this is when all the 6 faces are required. This is the exact thing we saw in the last slide. Now, if this is going to be placed in the room, so what will happen is, suppose this is the room, corner of a room, and we are going to place a cube here. So that cube is going to be something like this. Right? This is the cube that we are going to have. ये dotted matlab behind the figure hai. And the straight lines, not the dotted ones, the solid lines, they are the edges that you can see. So since we have 64 identical smaller cubes, so cube root of 64 is going to be 4. That means the dimension, as in there are 4 cubes along the height, we have 4 cubes along the one of the sides, which is here right now, right side, and 4 along the left. So ये 4 4 का. Now if I want to envelop it, I cannot envelop the behind 2 faces at the bottom face because they are placed along the wall or the floor. तो मेरे को 3 faces cover करने. So how many more cubes are required in this case? Okay, so I hope the figure is now clear. Rahul says 200. Anyone else? Anyone else? $61 AC एक बार बहुत बार आ गया. So 261 in both the cases, it's none of the above. ठीक है. So let's try to understand this. I need to first of all put a slice top वाले में. ठीक है. Let's start with the top one. So if I'm going to put a slice which has the same dimension as the top face, how many cubes are required? So can we say we are going to have 16 cubes here? So the top will also have 16. We need 16 more. Same goes with the cubes or the slice that we need at the front. 16 I'll require here also. Same goes with the slice that we need at the front, but on the right hand side I need 16 also. So 16 plus 16 plus 16, that is going to be 48 is the total number of cubes that I require right now. After this, I will have to cover up this particular edge. So how many cubes are going to be here? Remember, there are 4 cubes along the left hand side front. So we need 4 of them. So we need 4. Similarly, for this particular right hand side edge, we need another 4 to cover it up. So that is going to be another 4. Similarly, in the front, we need 4. So that is going to be another 4. And finally, we are also going to we need 1 at the corner. So that is going to be 1 extra. So the total number is going to be 20, 20, 20, and this one. So a total of 61. So AC is correct. The answer is going to be 61 and it's going to be none of these. Girish, sorry, not Girish, Rahul. Even if your option was the right one, none of the above, but still, I mean, even though your answer value was wrong, answer tab bhi sahi aayega. Right, Chetan? Right. It's going to be E, none of the above. 61 is what we require. Okay. Anyone, any doubt? Anyone, any doubt? No? ठीक है. Now, this is a set-based question regarding cube. So, if you have n cubes smaller cubes, नहीं, उसकी जगह ऐसे कर लेते हैं. If you have a cuboid of dimension LMN, remember, if LMN they are equal, they change to a cube. Okay. Then number of faces colored and number of cubes, they follow a pattern. Okay. So if you have total of 3 faces colored, you are going to have a total of 8 cubes which are found along the corners. If you want to find the number of smaller cubes with 2 faces colored, this is going to be found along the edges, which is given as 2 times L minus 1 L minus 2. 2 times L minus 2 plus B minus 2 plus B M. 2 times L minus 2, M minus 2 and N minus 2. If you want 1 face is colored, so this is going to give you 2 नहीं होना चाहिए, 4 होना चाहिए. The next one should be 2 times of L minus 2 into M minus 2 plus M minus 2 into N minus 2 plus N minus 2 into L minus 2. And if you want to find out the number of smaller cubes with 0 faces painted, which is going to lie at the core or the center of the large cube, this is given as L minus 2 into M minus 2 into N minus 2. Okay. So you will not find a cube with 4 faces colored. 3 faces tak hota hai. Now where did this faces colored come from? So actually what happens is you are given a question where there is going to be a cube. Okay. Initially this cube is, let's say, white in color, and then later on it is painted along all these 6 faces. सामने, ऊपर, नीचे, पीछे, लेफ्ट को, नीचे को, राइट को, सब जगह. And then it is cut into smaller pieces. When these are going to be cut along this in the smaller pieces, and if you break this particular shape, you will get smaller cubes. Some of the cubes will have only 3 faces painted, which are going to be found at the corners. ये corner वाला जो होगा ना, इसके तीनों painted होंगे, ऊपर, left, right. And so will be the corner here, corner here. Since there are 8 corners, so you get 8 of them. Okay. So this is what we mean by number of faces painted and number of cubes found. If the question is given about a cube and not cuboid, so in the formula of cuboid, we took the dimensions as LMN. If it's a cube, what is a cube? A cube is a cuboid with same dimensions. So LMN की जगह तीनों को n लिख दो आप. So your formula becomes 8 for 3 faces colored. It becomes 12 times n minus 2, which is for two faces colored. For 1 face colored, it's going to be 6 times n minus 2 whole square. And for 0 faces colored, it will become n minus 2 whole cube. Not 0 faces, 0 face colored. Okay? चलो अब solve करते हैं. A cube is painted with red color and cut into 216 smaller and identical pieces. Since there are total 216 identical pieces, what is the value of n here? The value of n will be cube root of 216. We have already used this in last 2 questions as well. Not last 2, previously 2 questions. If the total number of cubes is given and if you need to find out the dimension, take the cube root of that number. Okay? If the dimension is given, you need to find out the number of cubes. You cube that dimension. ठीक है? इधर एक साइड से cube root है तो दूसरे साइड से cube ही होगा. How many smaller pieces have exactly 2 painted faces? 2 painted faces में instead of LMN तीनों की जगह 6 put कर लो. 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 plus 4. Right? And then you have another 4. Which one will be the answer? ऐसे 3-4 बार लिख लो. नहीं, either you will have to remember the formula or you should be able to visually understand what is happening. इन दो के अलावा और कोई फॉर्मूला नहीं है. फॉर्मूला यही है कि इफ यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट क्यूब, देखो अभी मैंने आपको क्यूबॉइड का दे दिया ना, तो आप क्यूब का भी निकाल सकते हो. 8 12 times n minus 2 6 times n minus 2 whole square and n minus 2 whole cube. If we are dealing with cubes, n is 6. This is 1 face painted, this is 2 faces painted, sorry, this is 3 faces painted, 2 faces painted, 1 face painted and 0 face painted. अगर आपने ये याद किया और क्वेश्चन में अगर क्यूबॉइड आ गया तो क्या करोगे? ये तो करना ही पड़ेगा ना, कोई और रास्ता तो नहीं है. Right? So how many smaller pieces have exactly 2 faces painted? 2 faces painted, the value of n is 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 into 12 is going to be 48. So 48 is our answer. Right? How many smaller pieces have exactly 1 face painted? N is 6. 6 minus 2, 4. 4 square into 6. 4 square is 16. 16 into 6 is 96. आपको एक बार वो याद रखना है. It's better that you write it down on the rough sheet the moment the exam starts, because if there is going to be a question or a set based question like this, all you have to do is सीधे उसको वहां पर n की वैल्यू पुट करनी है. How many smaller pieces have no face painted? No face as in 0 face painted. So n is 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 का cube is 64. 64 is our answer. Got it, Rahul? आसान है, पर पहले वो याद रखना पड़ेगा. बिना याद रखे आसान नहीं होगा. Okay. While you guys are trying to read and solve this question, make sure that you please hit that like button. Like लगा दो केवल. A wooden solid cube with the length of the side 5 centimeter. So here the dimension is already given 5 centimeter. Is painted such that one pair of opposite sides is not painted and 4 others are painted green. If this is cut into 125 smaller 1 centimeter cubes, which was obvious, then find the number of small cubes having 2 sides painted green. So we have a cube. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a crosshair. Okay. And then I'm going to rotate this cube. So that we should be able to see it from all the sides. So this cross, let's say, is now behind this. Okay. So it is given that these one pair is not one pair of faces, they are not shaded, right? तो ये भी क्रॉस हो जाएगा, ये भी क्रॉस होगा. So the cross is the face which is not shaded, which is not colored. Apart from that, all the other four ones are colored, and they are colored in green in color, right? So ये green color से. So can I say this is like a wooden block where front and rear they are not colored? उधर हाथ लगा दिया और बाकी पेंट कर दिया around it. Now, if we want to find out the number of small cubes having two sides painted, now two sides painted वाले हमारे पास कौन से होते हैं? Remember, two sides painted वाले हमारे पास we have those along the edges, right? एज में एक ऊपर की तरफ वाला है, एक नीचे की तरफ वाला है. Not the corners, the edges. So if we try to find out along the edges how many we are going to have, इस एज के along, तो आपको कितने मिलेंगे इधर? 5 थे ना? Because now these two corners are now going to have only two faces painted, because the front and the rear they are not painted. So even the corner cube will be two faces painted. So we will find 5 here, right? How many are we going to find here? Same hoga. How many are we going to find here? It's going to be same. How many are we going to find along this one? Same. Right? So if even if I rotate it, I'll find the same 5, है ना? So along how many edges do we find 5? Because सब जगह तो बराबर ही था, है ना? How many? 5, 5, 5, 5 करते हुए 4 times, right? Because there are 4 edges along which we will find cubes having 2 faces painted. So 5 into 4, which will be 20. See? ठीक है? Okay. A pair of adjacent faces of a cube is painted red. Adjacent. A second pair of adjacent faces yellow, and the third pair of adjacent faces white. The cube is then cut into 216 smaller but identical pieces. How many of these smaller cubes have white or yellow but no red color on them? Now, this is going to be interesting, because unless and until we don't draw anything, we don't visualize it, we won't be able to answer. So, दो को रेड करना है ना? Adjacent. So let's say I painted this one as red, and then I painted the bottom one as red. I can't paint it in 2 dimensions, so I have just drawn that shade so that we'll remember the bottom one is painted red. ठीक है? So I'm going to extend it, क्योंकि इधर से भी दिखेगा. It's going to be on the left hand side also, but we can't draw, we can't see that. Now it says a second pair with yellow. Second pair they have not mentioned, we can take any 2 of them. So I'm going to take this one as yellow, and I'm going to take the one behind it, the one that is hidden. इसको yellow कर लेते हैं. The next one, the third pair of adjacent faces as white. So I'm going to take this as white in color, and then the face at the rear of red, let's take that as white. Okay. Now the question is, how many of these have white or yellow but no red color on them? White allowed है, yellow allowed है, पर red allowed नहीं है. Okay. Since there are 216 smaller cubes, so can we say the side is 6? 6 by 6 by 6 ka this large cube we have. Okay. If I don't want any cube which is red in color, so out of the total cubes, I will have to remove. So first of all, I need to find out all those small cubes which will have these three colors. कोई एक color हो, दूसरा color हो, या फिर कोई तीनों colors mixed हो. ठीक है? Right now I'm worried about that. So how many cubes are we going to have here? So can we say that 6 cube minus 4 cube? What is 4 cube? Remember, n plus 2 का whole cube minus n cube gives you the envelope, यानी बाहर वाले cubes. So 6 cube minus 4 cube, that is 216 minus 64, is going to give us all these red, white and yellow colored cubes that are on the surface. अंदर वाले में तो ना तो red है ना yellow ना white, so we can't take those. How many such smaller core cubes are we going to have? 4 cubes, 64 of them. So if I get rid of the core, I will have every cube which is either red or yellow or white. Red and yellow भी होगा उसमें, yellow and red and white भी होगा, सारे combinations होंगे, पर uncolored वाला कोई भी cube नहीं होगा, right? So this is going to give us 152. So 152 cubes we have. Now out of these 152 cubes, we need those which are white or yellow but no red. तो red वाले सारे हटा देते हैं. So out of these 152 cubes, how many cubes are red in color? So now if I point at this particular face, can I say कि इस face में जितने भी cubes होंगे, whichever as many number of smaller cubes we are going to get here, same number of cubes we are going to get at the bottom face as well. ये सब में red होगा ही होगा. So I need to remove these small cubes. So how many cubes are we going to have at the front? Since the value of n is 6, so can we say we will have 36 cubes at the front and same number of cubes at the bottom, right? But when we are going to remove this, what happens is ये जो corner वाला है ना, देखो ये practice और visualization से ही आएगा. ये corner वाला cubes are counted twice. Because when we are removing the front one, तो हमारे से ये वाला ये हो गया, हट गया. When this was removed, ये bottom वाला भी हट गया, but that is again counted into 6 into 6. So we need to put these many 6 cubes back because they were removed twice. So we can add that 6 here. एक तो ये तरीका है इसको करने का. The other method would have been एक एक करके solve कर लेते. 152 में से the front face are going to have 6 into 6 cubes and the bottom will have only 5 into 6 cubes, right? Because it won't be a square at the bottom because one slice is already removed, so the dimension changes, it decreases to 5 और दूसरे side पे 6 हो जाएगा. ये 6 था, एक हट गया, so 5 and then you will have the other dimension will stay 6. If you solve either of those, it will give you the same answer, right? 36 and 30. 36 and 30 is 66. 152 minus 66 is what we need. So 86 होना चाहिए. So there are going to be 86 smaller cubes that will have white or yellow but not red. Right, Yash? 86. So there are very standard types of questions on cubes. One that is in 3-dimensional space, number of cuts will give you some cubes. Cubes will be used to figure out how many cuts are required. एक वो हो गया. Another is when a cube is kept and you slice it with the coloring. Okay, the one that we just saw, the one before that. Another one is when the cube is placed at the corner or along a wall such that only two faces are hidden. तो वैसे वाले tricky as in the formula is not going to be directly used. You will have to do a bit of visualization and there will be mistakes when you're going to practice initially. तो practice ज़्यादा करोगे उतना ज़्यादा समझ में आएगा. A pair of adjacent faces of a cube is painted yellow. A second pair of adjacent faces is painted white and the third is painted red. The cube is then cut into 343 smaller but identical pieces. How many of the smaller cubes have red and yellow? Only red and yellow means white nahi allowed hai. So how many of them we are going to have? Similar question, number of smaller cubes have increased. And secondly, it's not white or yellow. It's not about the color name. It's more about whether you have or and. It was or before it's and. So we need to find those cubes जिसमें दोनों ये color दिखते हो. Right? So since we need red and yellow, so मैं paint वैसे ही करूँगा. So let's say this one is red in color. And the next adjacent one is going to be red in color. तो ये bottom कर दिया. ठीक है? These two are red. Then we have yellow. So I'm going to take this one as yellow and this one as yellow. Which ones are the white now? The one to the left hand side and the one which is at the rear. ये दोनों white है. We don't need white, so I have not taken it. Now, the question says 343. So cube root of 343, this is going to be 7. So 7 cubes are aligned. So the dimension of this large cube is 7 cross 7 cross 7. ठीक है? 7 का है. Red and yellow wale, can we say these are the cubes that we are going to find here? Sorry, not this one. This one will have only yellow and yellow, है ना? So we will find red and yellow here. Then we are going to find red and yellow here. And then we are going to find red and yellow here. Right? इधर में, sorry, this one is red. नीचे red है ना? So not here. Okay? Red and yellow, red and yellow, red and yellow. This one is going to be yellow and yellow. This one is white and yellow. This one is white and yellow. This one is white and yellow. Right? This one is red and red. This one is red and white. So, देखो, we have red, white and yellow. Red का we are getting 1. Yellow we are getting 1. Similarly, white will be getting 1. Right? As in the cubes with these colors. Then we have red and yellow के 3. Red, yellow के 3. We have white and yellow के 3. And we will have red and white के 3. If you count the total number of edges that I have just mentioned, which will have these two colors pairwise, देखो तीनों कलर तो नहीं होंगे किसी भी क्यूब पे, right? There is no such, अच्छा नहीं, तीनों कलर वाले ये होंगे ना. This is going to be red hair, white hair and yellow hair. तीनों वाले तो होने चाहिए थे, right? Because they are not opposite. So this corner one is going to have red, white and yellow. Okay. इधर अगर count करोगे तो we have 3 edges here and we have 9 edges here. We will have a total of 12 edges. We were supposed to have a total of 12 edges. है ना? एक cube में 12 edges ही तो होते हैं cube या cuboid में. So this corner is going to have red, yellow and white. Agreed? So we can't take this corner. ये वाला नहीं ले सकते आप. So how many cubes are we going to have here? ये corner भी हटा देते हैं. We will add it later on. So since there are 7 cubes along the edge, can we say we will have 5 here? Right? I'm going to remove this corner one as well. I'll count it later on. Since we have 7 cubes along the vertical edge, we are going to have 5 here, which will have red and yellow. Similarly, I am going to remove this corner wala cube. So can we say we are going to have another 5 here? 5, 5, 5, 20, 15 cubes have red and yellow. These are the only two colors we have, right? There is no white. And then out of these 4 corners, can we say that these are the only 2 cubes out of the 4 cubes that we had taken outwards? पिन पॉइंट करके रखा था, निकाला नहीं था, पिन पॉइंट करके रखा था. These are the only 2 cubes which will have only red and white. क्योंकि ये कॉर्नर वाले में तो ये white आ रहा है, right? Because this side is white. Similarly, this one will also contain white because bottom में red है, on the right hand side you have yellow and the rear side has white. So I can't take these 2 corners, which is the corner of the longest diagonal of the cube. So we are supposed to add those 2. Can we say itne cubes honge? 5 into 3 plus 2, which will give you 17. It depends AC on the language of the question, what they have asked. So this question was time consuming, and also it looks time consuming, it sounds time consuming because I'm trying to explain in case if anyone is too shy to ask questions. So I'm explaining ki kyun ho raha hai, right? And the thing is, anyone who is not able to solve this is because you have actually never taken a cube in your hand and sliced it. अब दिक्कत ये है कि मार्केट में किधर मिलेगा ऐसा क्यूब जहां पर ऐसा कर सकते हैं. Are you ready to spend 30 rupees or waste 30 rupees? If you are, तो आपको ऐसा क्यूब मिल जाएगा, जिधर जितना चाहे उतना स्लाइस कर लो, जिधर जाए पेंट कर लो. Buy a piece of bread that has not already been sliced. मार्केट में मिलता है ना ब्रेड जो स्लाइस्ड नहीं होता है, वो एक बार बाई करके टेक नाइफ, कटिंग नाइफ, और उसको स्लाइस करके देखो. Write down on a piece of paper how many slices you made, count the number of how many cuts you have made, write down the number of slices you are going to form, how many small pieces you form. मन करे तो ये water color से paint भी कर लो ना, so that you can actually see what is happening. Unless and until that is not being done, to understand this कि ये 2 plus 2 4 है, ये नहीं है 2 plus 2 4. There are certain types of questions that really require visualization, and if you're not good at it, you will have to actually see it live, because on paper or on slide, it's everything is 2D. If you don't understand the third dimension, नहीं समझ आएगा. ठीक है, तो वो language पे depend करता है. So this one was difficult. The ones previous to this were easy, relatively easy. Okay. Next is a pair of opposite faces of a cube is painted pink. Another pair of opposite faces is painted brown, and remaining 2 faces are painted green. So same question as before, just that the colors have changed, and instead of adjacent ones, we have opposite ones. The cube is then cut into 125 smaller but identical pieces. So cube root of 125, 5. Every edge will have 5 cubes. How many of them have exactly 2 colors of them? How many have only green color of them? So we will have to draw it, right? Without drawing, it's difficult. It's easy for those people who have practiced similar questions before. So 5 by 5 by 5 dimension ka, this is the large cube. Now it is given that they are painted opposite faces are painted pink. So I'm going to take this as pink, and the one at the rear of it, opposite wala, ye pink kar diya. They are painted brown. So दो को brown कर देते हैं. So I will take this as brown and I will paint this as brown. And two are painted green. So I'll take the top one as green and the bottom one as green. Right? Okay. Now, how many of the smaller cubes have exactly two colors on them? See, this cube at the corner has three colors. Right? This cube at the corner has three colors. Red in the front, blue to the right, and green at the bottom. Three colors wala. This corner will have three colors: green, red, and blue. So what you will find is every corner will have three colors on them. ठीक है? So corners तो नहीं है. Now we are left with edges and faces. Along the edges we get two colored ones, right? So two colored अगर find out करोगे, can we say this particular region will have two colors, one green on the top and brown on the left. Similarly, front wala, if I take this particular edge, so can we say this is also going to be two colored painted, front mein pink, top pe green. So there is no such edge where you will find the repetition of the color, and each edge is going to be painted by, each cube on the edges is painted by two colors. So two colors wale, can we say we are going to find them along the edges? This is an edge with 5 cubes. If I remove the corner ones, we are left with 3 of them. And then there are 12 edges. So 36 ho jayenge. Now, how many of the smaller cubes have only green color on them? So if I want to talk about only green color on them, so green color on them matlab ki the number of cubes, smaller cubes, that are going to be on this face and this similar face at the bottom. Is face pe kitna hoga? This is a square. Initially, the entire face is a square of dimension 5 by 5. Ab 5 by 5 mein, if I remove one from each side, then it will become a smaller square of dimension 3 by 3. Yani ki total 9 smaller cubes you will find which will have green color on them. Only green color. Because the question says only green color. And similarly, we are going to have another 9 at the bottom. Mirror image, opposite faces pe tha. If apart from these 18 cubes, if I take any other cube, they will either have green and some other color, or they will not have green color at all. So we will have 18 for this. AC, there are certain questions of LR and puzzles that I take. Please go through the channel. You'll find not just mine, but a lot of faculties who have discussed LR questions, not just MAHCET, but other exams also. Or you can go to our app. App mein you can find a lot of sessions where we discuss the concepts and questions. Now, the questions on dice. So, few concepts. Pehle, in a dice, if there are 2 dice drawn and on one it is written as 1, 2, and 3, and the next one is written as, let's say, 4, 5, and 6. Since there is no face common, nothing can be said. कुछ नहीं बता सकता, कोई नहीं बता सकता. Remember, if you have 2 photographs of the same die, and if no face is seen visible common, if no face is common in both the photographs, then nobody can say anything. As in which is adjacent to which, some part you can say. But you cannot concretely say which side is opposite to, sorry, which face is opposite to which face, right? 1 के adjacent में 4 faces होंगे. What are those 4 faces? I can see 2 and 3. What are the other 2? No idea. Okay. The second is, if there is going to be one face common on the 2 photographs of the same die. Suppose this is 4, this is 1, this is 3, and suppose this is 5, this is 4, and this is 2. Then we can answer everything. Everything can be answered. So our target is always to find 2 such diagrams where there is only one face common. कैसे पता करते हैं? You pick the common value and clockwise लिख लो आप. So when you write it down, it's going to be 4, 3, 1. 4 is common, no? 4 से ही शुरू करोगे. You will not take any other value, any other face. 4 से clockwise लिख लो. So this is going to be 4, 2, 5. Now here, the numbers that are in the same column, they are opposite to each other. They are written on the opposite faces. So 3 and 2, they are opposite to each other. 1 and 5 are opposite to each other. And 4 is opposite to which? Obviously 6 is left, because in a die you have numbers from 1 to 6. तो ये पता चल जाता है. इससे अच्छी बात हो नहीं सकती. Okay? And then there is another type of question where you have a sheet of paper, you fold it to form a die. To which face is opposite to which one is adjacent, and so on. So we will look into that as well. अभी तो फिलहाल ये वाला question. How many dots are there on the dice opposite to the one with 3 dots? In other words, 3 के opposite क्या है? So out of all these 4 figures, I will select 2 of them such that they have only one face common. So the first one has 2, 6, 3. The other one has 3, 1, 4. So I think I can select these 2 only. Everything else is useless. इधर ही से आ जाएगा. There is only 3 common. So if I pick 3 and write it in clockwise, I will be having 3, 6, 4. Sorry, this. Oh, sorry. There were 2 common. ये 4 था. 4 था. I did not. I made some mistake while writing down. So actually I can't take first and second. So we have 4, 3, 6. We have 3, 4, 1. I'm not writing clockwise because I don't know which one is common. The next one is 4, 5, 6. And the last one is 1, 2, 3. Okay, which one? Which 2 to take? Okay, we are going to take the first and the last because only 3 is common. I can also take the second and third because there only 4 is common. है ना? कोई भी एक ले सकते हैं. So चलो, I'll take the first and the last. So the common is 3. So I will start with 3. 3 से if I'm going to write clockwise, I'll be writing 3, 6, 4. इधर 3 है. 3 से clockwise अगर लिखा तो I'll be writing 3, 1, 2. Anyways, we want opposite to 3, no? So adjacent to 3 we see 6 and 4. Adjacent to 3 we see 1 and 2. So the leftover 6th value, which is 5, is obviously opposite to 3. So 5. आदेश 5. जब 3 दिख रहा है तो 6 दिख रहा है ना आदेश? इस फर्स्ट फिगर में 3 और 6 आजू बाजू दिख रहा है तो ऑपोजिट कैसे हो सकता है? नहीं हो सकता ना. Okay. 4 usual dice are thrown on the ground. The total of numbers on the top faces of these 4 dice is 13, as the top faces show 3, 4, 1, 5. What is the total of the 4 faces touching the ground? Okay. As in, we need to find out what is opposite to 3 in the first dice. हमें क्या पता? What is opposite to 4? No idea. Right? या फिर कोई ट्रिक है इसमें? Anyone? Is the answer cannot be determined, or is it something else? So usual dice, or also known as standard dice, is a dice where sum of opposite faces, as in sum of numbers written on opposite faces, is 7. यानी 1 के ऑपोजिट 6 होता है, 2 के ऑपोजिट 5 और 3 के ऑपोजिट 4. ये स्टैंडर्ड है, hence known as standard or the usual dice. So the one opposite to 3 will be 4, the one opposite to 4 will be 3, the one opposite to the value opposite to 1 is going to be 6, and the value opposite to 5 is going to be 2. So this will be the sum of the 4 faces touching the ground. क्योंकि टॉप अगर ये है तो जो टच नहीं कर, जो बॉटम पे ग्राउंड पे है, ऑपोजिट होगा उसका. So the answer is going to be 15 and cannot be determined. So unless and until standard or usual dice is not mentioned, you are not going to assume it. नहीं तो डाइस को कोई भी क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करने का सेंस ही नहीं बनता, हर के पीछे पता ही ये सब क्या है. राइट, XYZ. Next, two different positions of the same dice are shown, the faces of which are marked by the letters P, Q, R, S, T, and U. We don't see P here, but we see the other 5 letters. Select the letter that will be on the face opposite to Q. So common क्या है हमारे पास इधर को? T. So T से clockwise लिख लो, इधर T से clockwise लिख लो. When we do that, we will have T, S, and R. When we will take the next one, we will have T, Q, and U. So I believe you guys know which one is opposite to Q. Q के opposite में आएगा S. Right? Okay. Next. Folding a piece of paper to form a cube, then which face is adjacent to which one is opposite to which? तो पहले तो ये समझो कि in order to form a cube, suppose if I give you a piece of paper, a pair of scissors and glue, and if I ask you to form a cube out of it. So cube has got 6 faces, and each face, if you look at it, is a square. So can I say if I take 6 squares और इनको glue कर दे, I will eventually get a cube, right? How I am going to glue it? I'll start, obviously, I'll glue first of all two pieces. तो एक flat हो गया, एक इधर हो गया. Then I need at the front, I need left, right, and then I need on the top, right? So that's how I'm going to glue it. That's not the concern ki how I'm going to glue it. The concern is you should understand that when you have 6 squares, you can always form a cube out of it. So the different formats in which this can be formed is the first one being that you have 4 squares in a column, and if you fold it along the lines that I have drawn, you will get a hollow cube. And then you need one square on one of the sides and another one to the other side. अब ये वाला लेफ्ट और राइट वाला किधर है, ऊपर में, बीच में, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Depending upon how you are going to place them, you will start getting different figures, but they are actually going to remain same. Suppose इसको मैं नीचे लेकर आ गया, लेफ्ट वाले को थोड़ा नीचे हो गया बस. We are going to have the same cube, no? Right? So it will give you the same figure, doesn't matter where you place the left wala flap and the right wala flap, and so on. So this is one. Another type of shape that we have is we need 6 squares, remember? So we have 1, 2, 3, and then we have 1, 2, 3. ऐसे होगा 6 squares. When you fold it along this, you'll get a horizontal and then you'll get a vertical one. You horizontal को flip over कर दो, vertical को flip over कर दो, you'll get a cube. Now the question arises, which one is opposite to which? So when you have this backbone and 2 flaps वाले कोई भी figure, the one that I am drawing cross and cross, they will always be opposite to each other. The one I am drawing tick and tick, they will always be opposite to each other, and the one I'm drawing circle and circle or dot and dot, they will always be opposite to each other. ये दोनों flaps हमेशा एक दूसरे के opposite ही होंगे. See, any two consecutive squares are never opposite. They're always adjacent. In this particular figure, which looks like more like a ladder, two ladders, क्रॉस इसके बाजू वाला तो नहीं होगा ऑपोजिट, तो एक छोड़कर और जो बच गया ये ऑपोजिट होगा. So when the given figure is folded to form a cube, then which face is opposite to the one with asterisk? इसके ऑपोजिट कौन सा होगा? इसके ऑपोजिट ये वाला होगा. जय, मिर्ची लग गई. Two positions of a dice are shown below. If the face with one dot is at the bottom, then the number of dots on the top faces. Same question as before. We will try to find out the face which has equal, which is the same in both. So the first one has 3. Clockwise लिखेंगे तो 3, 5 है और 4 है. Second वाले में clockwise लिखेंगे, we will have 3, 6 and 2. Right? So 5 and 6 are opposite to each other. 4 and 2 are opposite to each other. 3 के opposite होगा 1. So if 1 is at the bottom, then top face पे 3 होगा. Good, good. So I hope today's session was okay for you to understand. You understood, you remember, you have to remember the formulas in case you did not know the formulas. Okay, before you guys leave, make sure that you like and subscribe. Like to definitely banta hai. Please share it with your friends who are also appearing for the exam. And we are going to start a new batch for CAT 2023. It's a comprehensive program where you are provided with a tablet which has got more than 300 engaging videos. You have got recorded lectures. So there are certain live lectures and there are certain recorded lectures, which are more than 300 again. These lectures are different from the classroom lectures. For classroom lectures, we have more than 200 hours of sessions. You are provided with more than 75 marks, more than 10,000 questions to practice, 4 books with solutions, and more than 5 years of previous year questions. You are helped with GDPI and VAT preparation with more than 15 sessions of those. So ये सारा चीज़. In case you are interested, please get in touch with the person. The link to getting in touch with the concerned person is given in the description below. On 21st of February at 7 p.m., Mr. Saral is going to take a session. Why is it important to start CAT preparation right away, as in now, as soon as possible? Okay, and he's also going to discuss about the test taking strategy. Okay, so make sure that you register for this as well. The link is again given in the description below, and it was flooded in the chat as well. So make sure you guys register for this. Please do attend. You don't have to solve anything. All you have to do is sit down, relax, and if you have any queries, ask. TISNET GK, it started since 19th of February, daily at 9:30 p.m. So if you guys are struggling with GK, make sure that you do join for these sessions. They are very important, and even last year a lot of questions in the exam were directly asked what were discussed in the lectures. इससे अच्छी क्या बात होगी कि एक तरह से हम आपको बता दे रहे कि कौन से क्वेश्चंस आएंगे, है ना? So make sure that you subscribe and keep the notification on so that whenever the session is about to start, you get the notification and you can attend. And 15th February onwards, every day at 8 p.m, we are going to cover the entire syllabus of TISNET 2023. So make sure that you guys definitely join this. The entire revision will happen in 8 days. Today also we're going to have another session. So again, you guys, please make sure that you attend these sessions. Okay. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining. Don't forget to like our Facebook page and follow us on Instagram. You can also join our Telegram channel, which is BYJU'S Exam Prep for MBA. You can download our app to get more such contents, all for free of cost. Thank you for joining. Everyone, take care. Bye-bye. Write AC, arrangement and puzzle.